Hi, I'm Ken Rohla, and I'm here at the 2011 ENOTA Mountain Retreat Ormus Conference in Hiawassee, Georgia, and a lot of cool stuff going on here. And I was surprised to see my good friend Tammy Lynn Calderon, also known as TLC, and Tammy is actually the distributor for quantum balanced crystals, which I sell on my website, which is freshandalive.com. I wanted to talk about these quantum balanced crystals, these EMF pendants, these balancers, because people are always asking me, do these things really work? I sell them and they always ask, do they really work? And I tell people, yeah, they really do work. And here's how they work, which is especially pertinent considering we're here at this Ormus conference where we're learning about Ormus elements. First of all, what these things are is a plant-based resin. It looks like plexiglass or something like that, but it's a plant-based resin, and it has hundreds of thousands of little nano-crystals, little quartz nano-crystals, which just means they're crystals that are the size of atoms. They're atomic-sized atoms. They're extremely small, and they're so small they act like antennas for high-frequency energy called scalar energy that comes through these things, and it creates a small localized scalar field. And that scalar field, it's a subtle energy. It's actually kind of like consciousness, and that energy is very, very high frequency, and it will structure conventional electromagnetic radiation. And it will make it, normally, like right now, if we had a radio or a television and we turned it on, we could pick up radio stations or TV stations. And it's because we're immersed in a sea of radio, TV, all kinds of different radiation that is bouncing around chaotically all around us. And we can pick it up with antennas. Well, our bodies are antennas also, and so our bodies pick it up. And it bounces around inside of our bodies very chaotically, and it interferes with cellular communications. It interferes with the brain and nervous system function, communicating to all of the cells. There were a couple of Nobel Prize winners in 1994, Rodman and I forget the other guy's name. But anyway, the 1994 Nobel Prize, they got the Nobel Prize in medicine for figuring out that human cells communicate with radio frequencies. So you've got cells communicating with radio frequency, with scalar frequencies, with electrical impulses, electrochemical impulses, and sound. You've got all this communication going on inside the body, and this EMF bounces around, it interferes with that communication. Well, these pendants and these scalar devices like this, these passive scalar devices, they create a local scalar field that makes that random chaotic energy become parallel. All of the waveforms become parallel. They line up, become parallel side by side, so that when they pass through your body, they're much quieter. It's kind of like a stealth airplane. You know, if you look at the cross section of a stealth airplane that has a very low profile, same thing with these waves. Instead of bouncing around randomly through the body, they pass through all lined up parallel. They're much quieter. It doesn't interfere with cellular communication as much. And so you wind up testing stronger with muscle strength and being more balanced in various ways. So, Tammy, talk a little bit about the different colors, because this is one of the things that I don't pay a lot of attention to with mine. I just go with whatever color I like. But talk to me about what kinds of things you've seen with these colors, what you know about the effects that these different colors have on people. And you were also mentioning to me that you actually use like 3 colors together to get an even better result. So tell me about that.
Yeah, when I first came about the crystals, was guided to them, I was always wearing purple and clear, because that was my favorite color. But as we had, first at the beginning we had the 7 colors. So as I started learning about them, I realized how important colors really are. And with our intentions, when we put them into the, each color has specific qualities. So when we're wearing the crystal with the color, with the intentions, and with the light quartz crystals and the resin and all the frequencies in them, it just makes a really powerful experience. And your intentions, it amplifies everything inside of you, and your intentions they become very real. And so I'll start with the red one. Now we've been guided to actually 12 colors, and it's really cool because we're reaching 2012. So we just was guided to our 12th crystal, is the magenta crystal, the color, which is the iron present crystal. But I'll go through. I got really specific because I know when we're asking the universe, when we're manifesting, being very specific is important to keep our energy very coherent. And so the red one is prosperity, the orange one is relationships, the yellow one is digestion or personal power, The pink one is the female heart chakra. The green is the male heart chakra. The turquoise is the higher heart. And the blue is the throat chakra. And our 11th crystal that we were guided to is the mouth chakra, which is for healthy boundaries and conscious eating and inspired speaking. That's the black one. And our indigo one is our third eye for vision. Our purple is the crown chakra, spiritual awareness. Magenta is the I am present crystal. And actually magenta is the bridge that connects you to spirit, so it goes between the purple and the clear. And then our last one, the clear one, is for clarity and true presence.
Now, I'll tell you something interesting I'm noticing. I'm camping just down this creek a little ways, and I've been there for 3 days, and I have had almost no insects around me whatsoever. And sitting here with these scalar devices, we are mobbed right now with bugs. We've got flies all over us. We've got little bees all over us. We've got all kinds of little bugs flying in here. They must like this energy because, man, they're like all over. And it's weird. I mean, I've been all over this property for 3 days. I haven't seen anything like this. Their bugs are flipping out. They're loving this, whatever's going on. So anyway, you know, one of the things that a lot of times people have difficulties believing that these colors and these types of energies have an effect on people because it all sounds like New Age nonsense, quite honestly. And yet we know that, you know, colors correspond to different frequencies of light, and our bodies, if you look at the matter that composes everything, you've got atomic particles that are composed of subatomic particles that are composed of smaller and smaller subatomic particles, and what happens is eventually you get down to particles that occupy space but have no mass, and by definition that is energy. Well, and so we're basically fundamentally at our basic level, we are beings of energy, and so all of these different kinds of energy have a very profound effect on us. The problem is that in the electromagnetic spectrum, at the bottom end of the electromagnetic spectrum, you've got ELF waves, and then you've got farther up the spectrum, you've got TV and radio and microwaves and infrared and ultraviolet, and at the very top you've got gamma radiation. But that spectrum doesn't really end there. You know, scientists, because they can't measure beyond that, they think it ends there, but in fact it doesn't. What's being discovered, if you study the work of Konstantin Meyl, M-E-Y-L, or Konstantin Korotkov, and other hardcore scientists that are studying scalar energies and the human biofield, what they're seeing is that this is just ultra high frequency energy, and the brain puts this energy out, the body puts this energy out, and it is these ormus elements, these monoatomic elements like gold, rhodium, iridium, platinum, osmium, that are in the body that really are the lenses for this, because these monoatomic elements, they're individual atoms of these elements, and they act like lenses or antennas for that frequency of consciousness to come and flow through the physical structure of the body. So your own consciousness goes out into the quantum field, comes back in through these ormus elements, and creates physicality within the physical structure. And so that's where these ormus elements is where the mind and the physical body meet. And it's also where other subtle energies meet. And this is why very often when people wear these devices, they see improvements in their health and in their behavior and their feelings, all kinds of things. So it's not New Age woo-woo nonsense. If you really want to see the hardcore physics of it, check out Konstantin Meyl's website. It's meyl.eu. He's got books all about scalar energy. He's got the physics, he's got the math. It's not woo-woo New Age nonsense, okay? So these technologies are nano-crystals that have ormus in them, and then I just, when I pick mine, I have a whole bunch of different ones, and I just choose the color that I resonate with that day, because sometimes I'm feeling differently, and overall your body has an overall vibrational frequency, and so depending on what I'm feeling, I just resonate towards a certain color, I pick it and wear it. And so I have several different ones. Now I wanted to talk to you about, you were showing me pictures, Tammy's got aura pictures of herself with different QBCs, and that was very, very telling to me. So let's take a look at these and tell me about, okay, first of all, this is the magenta one.
Yeah, so this is, first of all, what he said about resonating with the crystals is so right on, because once you tune into your own energy field, you resonate actually the colors, and that's what I discovered with my aura pictures, is that I wasn't wearing a crystal at all in this photo, and my aura was just totally magenta. And we were just guided and resonating to do the magenta crystal. And so this was like confirmation for me. It was in my field that resonated to creating the magenta crystal.
You can see there's a massive magenta field around her. It's really very, very pronounced. Okay, so what's the next one?
And I was intuitively feeling resonating with yellow, that would balance me the most. So I wore one yellow crystal, and you can see how my whole aura shifted, and I got blues and greens, and the yellow energy is coming right through my third eye.
Mm-hmm.
So that's more of a balanced state because more of my chakras are opening up when I'm wearing the yellow crystal.
I wish we had a picture without anything going on. And here is, what is this one?
And so then I wore 3 because I've created this Trinity idea with 3 crystals because it's body, mind, and spirit. So I just was feeling really strong about. I was noticing many people were wearing 2 or 3 crystals at a time, and so I started seeing what that was about and created the Trinity. And so for my perfect Trinity, it seemed to be yellow was personal power, the black one for healthy boundaries, and I had blue for communication. And so when I wore 3 crystals, I still had the aura behind me with the magenta and the colors, but I got the spiritual energy that showed up too. So it shows that I'm very connected to my higher self.
This is
I am presence inside of me.
This is hilarious. There are like a million bugs all over. There are bugs all over her. There's like a million flies all over us. It is hilarious. They're definitely liking this stuff. Now you also showed me these pictures, or somebody at a conference did aura photographs of you before and after. And tell us about that.
Yeah.
Show us the before.
Okay, this
first.
is the before one right here. I was wearing no crystal, and you can see my leakage was in my personal power. You don't even see my orange.
So first of all, let's talk about what the chakras are, because people may not know what chakras are, or they may think it's just a bunch of New Age nonsense again, but basically your brain and your spine are field generators. And your brain generates a large field. It generates several different fields. An electric field, your nervous system generates an electric field, and also generates a scalar field, and it sends it down the spine. And what comes off of that scalar energy going through the spine are these vortexes that come out from your spine at various junctures. There are superconducting junctures on the spine that are high in these Ormus elements, and that's where the chakras are. So what all the chakras are vortexes of scalar energy, and they correspond to different frequencies depending on how far away from the brain they are. And so so what you're seeing in this photograph is taken with a special camera that shows the different superconducting junctions on the spine, which correspond to the chakras. And at the root chakra, down at the intersection of the legs, you've got some red, and then above that you should have an orange ball, an orange chakra there, and there's pretty much nothing there in this picture, right? This was without any QBCs, right?
Without, yeah.
And then the one above that, the yellow chakra is huge, and then green above it is smaller, and they're all out of proportion. And then, like say, the orange is pretty much non-existent. Okay, so enter. What were you wearing?
That one I wore blue. I was feeling blue for communication.
So she puts on a blue QBC, and what you see now is the chakras are all lit up. They're all pretty balanced. They're all about the same size, including the crown chakra, which in this first photograph, the crown chakra, the magenta one, is huge. So she's all in her head, and she's out of her gut. She's out of her stomach feeling center. The stomach is a mass of nerves. It's the Chinese consider the stomach a second brain, and there's actually an Asian healing technique called Qinate Zong that works with that. But it looks like from that first photograph, that whole feeling center in the stomach is shut down. You put the blue QBC on, and that switches on, and everything winds up getting balanced. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so there's a long answer to, do these things work? Yeah, I wear them. What I notice when I'm sitting at the computer all day, at the end of the day, I'm not tired. If I don't have one, I'm tired. And I'm sitting there staring at minutia all day long for long periods of time, and I definitely notice a difference. I've also done muscle testing and other kinds of testing with devices, quantum devices like a QXCI Skio, with and without these devices, and show there's definitely an effect. So you can do that. A simple test that you can do is, sit around with some flies and wear. No, muscle test yourself. This is crazy, man. These flies are just like, they're loving this. But you can muscle test your own strength with and without these devices and see. There are other kinds of tests you can do as well. Aura photography. I've done different kinds of aura photography like this, where you can see a difference before and after using them. So you can check those out. The main thing I notice though is fatigue for me. Like working long days, that kind of stuff. I don't notice fatigue when I'm wearing these things. You've also got these protectors for electronics and cell phones and that kind of stuff. And again, people are always asking me, do these things work? Yes, they do. Here's what they do. You can put them on cell phones, anything with a battery like a laptop. You can put them on motors. In your house, you have one for a house, a whole house panel. I put them on the electric panel in the house, and what it does is, it creates this localized scalar field. And if you put it on the main breaker of your house, what happens is that scalar field will structure the electricity coming into your house at that main breaker, and it will make all of that all the electrons that are flowing, normally they're very chaotic, it will make them become coherent, and as that energy is flowing through the wires, that will put out a smaller field because all those electrons are flowing in parallel to each other. They're not all jumbled and random. So it really does work. It will put smaller fields out in your devices. It'll make batteries last longer. You can put it on your car. I've noticed on my truck, I've got a Toyota T100 truck. It's 12 years old, and I get about 2 miles per gallon better gas mileage with it on the battery. I put it on the negative battery terminal. You can also put it on the fuse box. But it's all about structuring energy. So it structures water, it structures electricity, it structures all these different kinds of energy.